Hello and welcome to JPWHU Radio with me, your host John Phillips, also known as JP. On today's podcast, we are going to be recapping everything that's happened in the last 7 days since I spoke to you, and also we're going to be discussing the England's exit of the World Cup. If you wanted to listen to the unedited version of this podcast, then by all means, please do become a Patreon. Links in the description below. Otherwise, let's get on with it. Okay, so over the last 7 days, there's not been that huge amount of topics to talk about. There's been a lot to talk about England, which we'll go into in the second part of this. But the third part will be discussing what I think the FA and Tuchel should be doing. But that third part is only going to be available for the Patreons. But yeah, so let's talk about the West Ham side of it, because obviously this is a West Ham podcast. David Martin has been confirmed he's going to be the academy coach at the end of this month, beginning of August. And as well for I think it was just a fantastic move. He hasn't had the most glorious of goalkeeping histories, obviously he hasn't played for huge teams. He's played for, I think, genuinely like West Ham. No disrespect to any other side, but West Ham's the biggest side that he played for, and he only had a handful of appearances. Obviously we know him as the son of Alvin Martin, the West Ham legend from the 80s and 90s. And also, for that matter, that iconic debut he made against Chelsea, where we were struggling under Pellegrini. I can't believe that was 6 years ago, man. Almost 7 years ago that game happened. Time has bloody flown quick. It really has. But no, as I say, there hasn't really been that much more to talk about, other than the news that was announced yesterday that Jarrod, I didn't have time when I came back from work yesterday to talk about it. Otherwise, we would have heard it first thing this morning. But yeah, Jarrod Bowen has signed a new contract with West Ham, which is a phenomenal move and has such a huge impact on everything that we're doing and everything that we hoped as well. Because I know a lot of people were very worried about him doing the Scott Parker, but nope. Just goes to prove that you have to treat everybody as individuals and not pigeonhole everybody thinking, right, he's done that, therefore Jarrod's going to do the same thing. He didn't. We knew he wasn't going to move. It just, for those that had a higher IQ than any Spurs supporter, right, or a glass of water for that matter, which are pretty much the same thing, we knew that he wasn't going to move. We knew that he wasn't going to move, and he's committed his future. There's no change in the extension of the deal. There's no extension to the deal. It's exactly same length of time. It's going to which is going to 2030, if I remember correctly. But as I say, yeah, it's a really, really good move for the club, and it really, really cements that there is a proper long-term plan here. That they want him to stay. They want the core of the squad to stay with them as well. With the exception of so-called first-team players, Todibo or Todibo, depending on how you pronounce it, and Somerville. Obviously, fringe players like Kilman, James Ward-Prowse, Cornet, Fulkrug, etc., even Alvarez for that matter, are all earmarked to leave. But at the same point, guys, it's pretty much that everybody else is gonna go. That's right. Everyone else is going to stay, other than the French players, and it's phenomenal news. It's really, really is good news. It's a disappointment in relation to Debo, because I think I still think there's a really, really good defender in there. The only problem is he's fallen out with 3 managers now, and has refused to play the last game of the season against Leeds. Refused to play the behind closed doors Chelmsford friendly as well, for that matter. So he's off. Simple as that. He's trying to get off at the first. And to be honest with you, I don't blame you. If you don't get on with 3 managers, then on your bike, pretty much. That's not the sort of player that we need at West Ham. But yeah, this obviously is just talk about the behind closed doors, because I haven't talked about this on the YouTube video that's gone up today, because I'm trying to focus it more specifically on things happening. Obviously, as we know, West Ham are playing Southend today, but obviously England tonight are playing the what was it, the what do they call it now? It's the bronze game, isn't it? Whoever wins as for the losers final, basically. whoever wins gets a bronze in England in the the World Cup places. Like, for God's sake, what the hell's going on from that side of things? But we'll talk about that in a minute. But as I say, from a West Ham perspective, things are looking very, very good. It's also very, very entertaining in a good way to read that a lot of the youngsters are going to be given a choice of given a choice, a chance, I should say, to prove themselves on a better basis. It's just before they go out on loan, which I think is a fantastic idea from the club. I really, really do. So I mean, I hinted at it a little bit in relation on the YouTube channel, but let's talk about it in relation to you and I. Okay, so Finn Herrick is up on the senior squad list, which is phenomenal. As is Kalen Casey, as is Ezra Mayers, as is Ollie Skiles, as is George Earthy, Mahamadou Kante, Lewis Orford, Freddie Potts. And then obviously looking at the forward options, we've got Callum Marshall in there. It's so good that they're getting the recognition. Now, of course, they're going to get a better chance to prove themselves to stay in the senior side to compete for the places in the championship. That's complete logic. Obviously, not all of them will. Because, like, for example, if I remember correctly, I think Callum Marshall is on his last year of his contract. So he's going to have to prove himself from that point of view, and hopefully gets a new deal before he goes out on loan. Because I do think, sorry about the squeaky chair there. I do think that there is a very good player in there. It's just he needs the right opportunity. Will he get that with West Ham? I think the risk is slightly too high for him. I really do. But at the same point, I'll be happy if he comes on and replaces Pablo. He's a much better player than Pablo, that's for damn sure as mustard. But as I say, from a West Ham perspective, there are phenomenal things going on at the minute. There's a hell of a lot of positivity going around, especially bearing in mind we are a little bit in the cooler days than we were beforehand. All right, so let's talk about England and the World Cup exit. Now, I did say in the previous podcast that we haven't seen England go up a gear, and we certainly should have done, and we certainly didn't see that against Argentina. I agree with Thomas Tuchel, and I still maintain that it hasn't been good enough. The performances haven't been good enough. Gordon's goal against Argentina came at exactly the right time when we needed it to. Obviously the Argentina players did their usual tactics of basically just mucking about, trying to con the ref as much as possible, trying to wind the England players up, which didn't really happen in terms of their game plan. We had obviously it was quite funny watching Bellingham just laugh in the faces of the players that were trying to wind him up. Obviously Bellingham did get involved in a couple of things, but there was there's a very, very loud biplane flying over as he does on the weekend. Bless him. So hopefully I'll just close the window now. Apologies for that. But yeah, as I say, it was funny to see them try and wind the players up, and in general didn't really happen. There were a few times where there were a bit of handbags and coming togethers and whatnot, but nowhere near the game plan that they were trying to do. And it was funny that Argentina were playing football after Gordon scored that goal. Funny that, isn't it? Yeah, And then obviously once they got the draw. So they got the draw. It was capitulation from that. It was just that, God, again, guys, so many errors in the build up to that goal. It was just absolutely pathetic. And I'm sorry, but I just don't think that we played well enough. We certainly didn't keep Messi quiet enough in any shape or form. He set up both bloody goals, for Pete's sake. Don't get me wrong, Lionel Messi's phenomenally good. We all know that. And I do think the answer of who's the better player between Ronaldo and Messi has been finally answered and put to bed now, because Ronaldo got absolutely nowhere with Portugal, and Messi's gone on to the final to play against Spain, two Spanish speaking countries that have never played each other before in the final. That's an interesting one as well, for that matter. But obviously, as I say, England play France tonight in the good luck cup. That's what I like to call it. The loser cup. But yeah, it's ridiculous. So does that because everybody it's called the bronze game, right? The bronze final. So does that mean that if Argentina win it and therefore are back-to-back World Cup winners, does that mean that Spain are going to get a silver medal? Honestly, it's just so stupid. It really is. It's like all that stuff that with school kids and everybody gets a trophy for competing. It's like, come on, it's just one. It's one, and that's it. Because it used the loser final used to be known as the playoff. The playoff for the World Cup. And it's just honestly, it's always been ridiculous. It's always been stupid. The England players should be on the way home now. Quite frankly, they really should. But nope, they've got to play another game tonight before they go home. And honestly, it's just so stupid. So that's it for your free version of the podcast. If you want to listen to the full, unedited and slightly more vocally graphic version of the podcast, then by all means, please do become a Patreon. It's for £3.80 a month. You can pay more for 1 pint in London than you do for an entire month's worth of content. So please do consider it. You'll be helping me out a hell of a lot. We're bringing more content to you, the more Patrons I can get. But also, please do subscribe to this podcast as well on whatever platform you are listening to. Please also go and check out JPWHU TV, because there will be videos over on YouTube to complement the podcasts. So go check those out as well. But in the meantime, look after yourselves, take care, and I will speak to you very soon.